Are we living in the last days or later times? The answer is yes. In the Bible, in the book of 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1. 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1. It says, "But understand this, that in the last days there will come times of difficulty. For people will be lovers of self, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, heartless, unappeasable, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not loving good, treacherous, reckless, swollen with conceit, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having the appearance of godliness, but denying its power. Avoid such people." The Bible clearly tells us the attitude of people who be living at the last days or later times. I'm sure most of us are seeing these attitudes in our neighbors, friends, or even workmates. People are lovers of pleasure than they love God. You see, people are spending most of their times out, going out with friends, with family, but they don't have time to spend for God. Children as well, the Bible says children are disobedient to their parents, and we can see children are dependent. They look like no one can tell them anything. So these attitudes tells us that we are living in the last days. Let's move to 2 Peter chapter 3. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 3 and 4. "Knowing this, first of all, that scoffers will come in the last days with scoffing, following their own sinful desires." Verse 4. "They will say, where is the promise of his coming? For ever since the fathers fell asleep, all things are continuing as they were from the beginning of creation." So people will have this mentality to say, to laugh at Christians or those who are preaching the truth, that since the beginning of creation, things are still the same. You've been preaching that he's coming, Jesus is coming. Where is he? Things are still the same. So we are seeing these people laughing at us who are preaching the truth. The third scripture that I can give is in the book of 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1. 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1. "Now the Spirit expressly says that in later times or last days, some will depart from the faith by devoting themselves to deceitful spirits and teachings of demons."